Hello, everybody. Welcome to Recurrent. It's been a while, I know. Um, I decided to put together a quick video to give you guys my top 10 album of the year AOTY list for 2025. If anybody's been following me on my socials on Facebook and Blue Sky, I've been counting down an album a day, and so I just revealed number three today. And so if you watch this video, you'll get everything in advance by a couple of days. I usually when I do this, I usually have a list of honorable mentions, and this time I only have a couple. My number 14 is Spock's Beard, and I hope I'm saying this, the Arch Optimist. I believe that's how you say that. I haven't actually heard anybody say it. Um, but Great playing on this record, written predominantly by Ryo Akamoto, the keyboardist. Was very much looking forward to this one. Like I said, really great playing. Lots of really tasty fusiony things happening there. The reason it didn't make my top 10 was because it's really lacking, in my opinion, in memorable melodies, and so I'm having a really hard time learning it. I started like about 3 weeks ago, and I still feel like I don't really know it. The long form piece on that album, the title track, is very it's been really hard for me to get into. I'm so used to artists that make long tracks that are actually three, four, or five really pop songs, kind of strung together with instrumental passages in between. And the Art Optimist is it's very complex and very interesting, challenging listening, but not really inspiring melody wise. And so that's why it didn't make the list. My number 13 was something that I was hoping would make it, and it came close. That's Hummingbird Highway by Dar Williams. Anybody who's unfamiliar with Dar, she is a contemporary folk artist from the Northeast, Massachusetts, I believe. One of the best lyricists, I think, of our time. Sparse instrumentation, but keyboards, very organic, organ and things like that. Not too different from what you'd hear like on a 10,000 Maniacs album or something like that. Really great artist. She's made lots of records. If you're interested in that sort of thing, definitely check her out. So that was, I think, what did I? I think I treated this like a top 12. I think I said 14 and 13. I meant to say that Spock's Beard was number 12 and that Dar Williams was number 11. So my number 10, I don't have a physical copy to show because I bought the the downloads from Bandcamp. But one of my favorite bands, Pennsylvania's Echolin, and Time Silent Radio 2 and Time Silent Radio 7. These albums were released at the same time. Time Silent Radio 2 is two longer tracks, and Time Silent Radio 7 is seven shorter tracks. And I kind of knocked this album a little bit lower on my list because of because of that concept, which I think is kind of weak. I think that they probably could have either edited that down into one album and integrated the longer tracks, because I can't think of a real reason to isolate them. They're very easy to get into. One of them's very long, almost 30 minutes, or it is 30 minutes, I'm not sure. But since I don't have a physical copy, it's really, really easy to get into, very extremely melodic. These guys are, they're aging very well, very gracefully. You could tell by looking at the videos that they put out that they're getting older. They're around my age, probably 60s. But it's been a delight to follow them through their career and to watch them grow. And they're very skillful songwriters and very good performers. And so if you get a chance, go to YouTube and look up couple of the tracks from these two albums. But that is my number 10. My number 9 is a Canadian singer-songwriter. I keep putting that in the wrong place. Ron Sexsmith and his album Hangover Terrace. You can, really hard to read song titles in the back. You can really count on Ron to put out an album every couple of years. and they're always good. They're always He's one of those guys that you can, if you're not familiar with him, you can take just about any of his albums. I think he's got about a dozen, maybe more, and you can start anywhere. Really good, inventive songwriter. Everything is, a lot of songs are really kind of teetering on the edge of humor. They're not straight up, humor tracks, but very witty, very funny. The highlight of this one is a song called "Cigarette and Cocktail." And he says, as kids at grown up parties, all our fathers and our mothers had a cigarette in one hand and a cocktail in the other. If you grew up in the if you were a kid in the late 60s, like me, you'd identify with that. When it came to lungs and livers, well, they could not be bothered. A cigarette in one hand and a cocktail in the other. And this video is great. It's animated, and it's a little kid like walking through a adult party in his pajamas, just kind of looking around. And so really good stuff, really funny, really, he's got kind of a unique voice, and a lot like Dar Williams in that it's sparse arrangements, but really, really well done. Ron is really into doing like nostalgic kind of 60s like string and horn arrangements to where, there are a couple of things on this album that kind of sound like early 70s Glenn Campbell kind of stuff, and so, which I really appreciate. So that's a really cool album. My number 9, Hangover Terrace by Ron Sexsmith. My number 8 is this one, Car Mechanic Transmutation, and it's really a shame that I can't put this higher. Really good stuff from this guy. This is Jonas Reingold, bass player, has played in Flower Kings. He's currently in Steve Hackett's band, and if you look at this package here, it's you can see some people who play on it. There's Jonas right there, and if you look over here, you can see Steve Hackett and Simon Phillips, and that's Randy Mustaine, Nick DiVirgilio down there. Over here, you've got Craig Blundell, John Mitchell. So yeah, lots of really great guests on this album, and kind of a combination between prog rock, a couple of long form tracks. End of the Road is about 10 minutes long, and Transmutation is about 22, 23. And then peppered in there are some really, really effective pop rock songs. John Mitchell's voice, this is the first album, Car Mechanic album, that John Mitchell has sung on, and he blends in really well. And you almost don't notice that it's a different singer, because Jonas's songs are so distinctively his that the change in the voice from the guy who used to sing for Car Mechanic is, you almost don't notice it, because the songwriting is so consistent and so strong and so reminiscent of the earlier albums. So that is my number 8, Transmutation by Car Mechanic. My number 7 is this one right here, Dream Theater Parasomnia. You may wonder why it's not higher. Mike Portnoy's return to Dream Theater. Just so much happening this year that it was hard to put this album any higher than this, for me anyway. Like most Dream Theater albums, there are 2 or 3 songs that are really effective melodically, that are very memorable and emotional. And then there's some stuff on here that is a little bit punishing, a little bit kind of hard to get through. Not hard to get through, but challenging to get through. Lots of noise, lots of notes, very loud. The album is, if I can think of anything bad to say about it, it's a little bit too long. Not sure what the running time is, but it seems like a long time. You get to the second to the last track, Bend the Clock, which is really a spectacular song. Technically a ballad, but more to it than that. It has an epic guitar solo at the end, probably one of Petrucci's best solos. And I almost feel like when it gets there, you've already been listening to it for about an hour, and it almost feels like it could end there. And then you have the Shadow Man incident, which is a 19-minute and 32-second track. And so you're just kind of like, oh my God, there's more. It's great that there's more, but you will work hard with this one, but this is Parasomnia by Dream Theater, and it is my number 7. So number 6, this is Amorphis Borderland, and Amorphis is from Finland. They've got a lot of records. I talk about Amorphis a lot. Amorphis was my gateway to bands with harsh vocals. The singer Tommy Jutsen, or Jutsen, I don't think you say the J. I think it's Tommy Jutsen. He's got a very good voice, almost like a goth kind of a voice. And you've heard me talk, if you've ever watched any of my videos, you've probably heard me talk about this band before. He's got a harsh vocal sound and a clean vocal sound. Some songs are all clean. Very few are all harsh. Most of them are combination. And they have a new producer for this album, Jacob Hansen, and from Denmark. And he kind of shook things up a little bit and made it so that the harsh vocals blend into the arrangements a little better, so that a lot of times you accept them a lot better because the transitions into them are a little smoother, and so you don't think of, oh, that's the fourth harsh vocal song in a row, I could really use one that's all clean vocals. You don't feel that way with this album because it's all integrated really well, and it's got probably their very best song, a song called The Strange. Just gorgeous melodies, lots of key changes. If you like epic key changes and surprising key changes that you don't expect, Amorphis is really the band for you. I really wanted to put this higher. It got knocked a little bit because of this cover, which I really don't like. There are these two, a gold guy and a silver guy on the top, and then there's people down there in the water drowning, and it's just it's just not my thing. I don't really care for it. Their last 4 or 5 albums have had graphic covers that have been just kind of like designs and patterns, and I really like those. And I think a lot of people have been saying that this is an improvement because they were tired of seeing that every time, but I rather liked those covers. But fantastic record, absolutely fantastic record. I can't recommend it high enough. That's my number 6. Number 5, another album you might be surprised isn't higher. Stephen Wilson, The Overview. And I went to see this show. It was really, really good. 2 songs, Objects Outlive Us at 23:17 and The Overview at 18:21. Both songs have some space rock elements in it, in them, more so The Overview, the second song. Objects Outlive Us is one of those kinds of epic tracks from Stephen where he's kind of shoehorned kind of a pop rock song in the middle of it, which has lyrics by Andy Partridge, which are really creative and humorous. And one of the reasons why this ended up at number 5 and not higher is that as it went, as I went through the year listening to it, I kind of felt equally about as far as how much I liked each track. And as the year went on, Objects Outlive Us, the first track, just kind of pulled way ahead of The Overview. The Overview is great, and if you went to the concert, you know how great it is, but it hasn't held my attention like Objects Outlive Us does. And the only other thing I would say about it is that I prefer the album before it. So anyway, that's not The Overview's fault, but still a great album, still very highly recommended. That is my number 5. Number 4 is an album that I don't have a physical copy of because a physical copy does not exist yet, and that is Moron Police and their album Pachinko. Anybody who's never heard Moron Police, it's almost impossible to describe. The songs are just uber melodic, and I can't say enough about how uplifting and fun this music is. Some songs are they're so joyful that I can hardly stand it when I listen to them. I just smile from ear to ear, but just because I'm just thinking this is some of the best music I've ever heard. This album, Pachinko, was a long time in the making, and just it took a while to come out, but it's very long. I think it's 14 tracks, and great from beginning to end. I can't say enough about it. It came out recently, so I think if it had come out early in the year, it may have been higher than number four. Really spectacular album. My number three, I've reviewed before on the channel, and that's Deep Water by Cosmic Cathedral. I was able to go to Morphfest USA this year to get the signatures on the front, and so that was great. This band, I was really not only was I excited to see them because there were a couple a couple of musicians that I had never seen before perform, and but not only that, but the meeting them was such a treat because they were such nice people. You can see on there Phil Kagi, who I have met before, but extremely warm, kind individual on guitars and vocals. Byron House, who I did not know, also a very nice guy. The bass player turns in a fantastic performance. Some of the best bass playing on a record I've heard in a very long time. He's kind of a staple of Nashville sessions. So he's played with a lot of famous people, probably a lot of records that you've heard. And then Chester, whose playing was very different from what I expected. His playing has become very smooth and very jazz influenced, and just a real treat to hear. You know, when you're used to hearing him play in the Cage medley and stuff like that by Genesis, this stuff is much more nuanced and than that, and really great. But you know, all of these people, Phil Kagi's guitar playing, of course, is fantastic. I said when I saw this concert to my friends that might have been that I'm talking about Morphfest USA in October. It might have been the best guitar performance I've ever seen in person. Just astonishing. But all of these three guys complement Neil's usual strengths so perfectly, and it really makes for, you know, you think of all of these recorded in Nashville Neil Morse projects, and you expect them to be good, and they are. But this one is really different. Extremely religious, spiritual content here, but you definitely, you can kind of tell by looking at the song titles there. You definitely don't want to let that stop you. That the last portion of Deepwater Suite, "The Door to Heaven," is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard, and it's just when Neil hands off the lead vocals to Phil, it's just it's very effective and very beautiful. Let's see a couple of highlights. "Walking in Daylight" is this really kind of fusiony kind of a electric piano based tune that's really great. "The Heart of Life" is a long track, relatively long, 13:37. It's got a really epic middle section of it that is something that prog fans will really enjoy. But I think "I Won't Make It" is the highlight of the album, and I've heard some people say that. And I've heard some people say that "I Don't Make It" doesn't fit because they think it's too close to a pop song to be on something as progressive as this. But I actually disagree. I actually think that putting "I Won't Make It" on here, just I think that the variety of the different kinds of music on this album is part of its charm, and it gives you something to instantly like, because you know, getting into the album is you know, it's a long album. It's got a lot of proggy parts of it. It's pretty challenging, but it kind of, having a pop song on there really kind of makes you ease into it a little better, and so I think that it belongs in there perfectly. I've called "I Won't Make It" a masterclass in songwriting. I don't say that as a songwriter, but as somebody who appreciates good songwriting, and I think that it's really, you know, it's almost predictable in the things that Neil does with the octaves of his voice and with the way that the key changes are. You know, they're exactly where you expect them to be, but extremely satisfying and effective. And so a lot of people have had good things to say about this, but any other year, I think it would have been my number one. So that's Cosmic Cathedral and Deep Water. Okay, so we're at number two. And number two is an album that, for some reason, I wouldn't say that it's gotten bad reviews, but it has not gotten a lot of reviews. It doesn't seem like there's been a lot of attention paid to it, and I really think that's a shame. The actual official, I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. It's Katatonia, Nightmares as Extensions of the Waking State. The official the social net media pages for this band actually came right out and said a couple days after it came out, this is going to take you a while. This is going to be something that rewards you with repeated listens. And that almost sounds like an excuse, like something that somebody would say if they were saying, "Oh, nobody's paying attention to us. We need to tell them that they need to give this multiple times." But it's really true. I think they did that. They did that so that you would be armed with that information when you started listening to the album. Really cool graphics by the team that's been doing. I'm gonna actually look this up because I want to be able to give these people a shout out, and their name escapes me. The folks who did the album cover here. It is Bunker Artworks. If you don't follow them on social media, do, because they shared a whole lot of kind of making of images of this artwork, and as you can see there, it's kind of different from a Katatonia record because it doesn't have it's feature birds, but actually they're the birds there up there, and so this is what the back looks like. This is the deluxe CD. So this one has a remix of their song "Wind of No Change," and the Kiss cover, "A World Without Heroes," which is, you can imagine this band doing that song, and it's every bit as great as you would imagine. Two guitarists to come in new to this band. They lost their original guitarist who had been there for many, many years, and two new guys come in. That would be Nico Elgstrand and Sebastian Svaland. One of them is 30 and one of them's around 50, so that's kind of cool that there's this age disparity between the two guitarists, but really fantastic guitarists, and you won't notice it. You really don't. If you haven't heard this record yet, you won't feel like something's missing or something drastically has changed. The album before this, Sky Void of Stars, is a contender for my favorite album of all time. I don't think I will ever like a Katatonia album as much as I liked that one. I think it topped my 2023 list. But this one here is really different from that. And, a lot of people would disagree with me, and they would say, that Katatonia, or Jonas Tonia, which one of my friends from Blue Sky calls them, has made similar albums each time, now that they've gotten kind of darker, more introspective, and less straight up metal. But I actually disagree. I actually don't think that the last five records, I don't think that they've made the same five records in a row at all. I think they're very different, and this one is very different from Sky Void of Stars. The the first song, Thrice, is a really cool song, really, really heavy and really intense, and some new elements in their sound within the arrangement. And Wind of No Change has what sounds like a choir. It's actually two people, a male and a female, just overdubbed to sound like a choir, and it's very interesting and exciting sound. Most people have heard Lilac and Temporal, the fourth and fifth tracks, and those were the ones that had those, along with Wind of No Change, were the lead off singles and videos for that. But Warden is the song that really let's see, the seventh track there is the one that really got under my skin, and it was one of those songs where when I heard it, I kept thinking, when I was first learning it, I kept thinking, oh, this reminds me of a song on Sky Void of Stars, and then I went, no, wait a minute, it reminds me of Warden, because it had kind of gotten under my skin. And the light which I bleed is cool. One of the things I like about Katatonia is their songs are arranged to, most of them have like an actual ending, but they always have one or two. Usually it's just one per album that fades, and the light which I bleed fades. And when it happens, it's a really long fade. It takes like 30 seconds to do it. When it happens, you kind of think, oh, this is the song that should fade out. If you listen to this album and put it down after a while, I encourage you to pick it back up because it has really haunted me, and it has been the album that I've gone back to the most out of all the albums on my list. This is my number two. I really wanted to make it number one, but I couldn't because of my favorite band right here, IQ, and their album Dominion. I considered doing a video about this. I did an episode of Cretan Classics with Davey Cretan and Bicycle Legs where we reviewed this record, and I kind of felt like I couldn't top, I couldn't really add too much that the three of us already talked about. But as the year went on and the more time I spent with this, I started to think that this might very well be the most beautiful album I've ever heard. If that's what you like, then you've probably already heard this, but if you haven't, please listen to this. Starts with an epic, The Unknown Door, then One of Us, which is a short acoustic track, which is unusual for IQ. No Dominion, super epic, near title track. Just a spectacular melody and just really a stunning track. And then Far From Here, which is a longer form track that is one of those IQ songs where they have these very, very often, most of their albums have one or two of these kind of tracks where it really, you have to learn it until you figure out how beautiful it is. It doesn't hit you at first. And then Neverland, which is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever heard in my life. If you don't like it when bands relentlessly hit you with super emotional things that bring you to tears, then you won't like that. But if you do like that, you will love Neverland. I promise you that. So that's my number one this year. I didn't think when I heard it that it could be topped, and it couldn't. So anyway, that's my top 10 end of the year album of the year list for 2025. Some things happening in my life coming up soon. My wife and I are about to move to the northeast United States from Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to move to a small town in Pennsylvania. I'll reveal more of that when this house is on the market, and a lot of things have to happen before I can really announce that. But I'm going to be moving to a very quirky and cool little town in Pennsylvania, and so the scenes in my background will change, and for the better, I think. And so that is coming up soon. So you'll hear from me again in the new year. Thanks for watching, everybody, and Happy New Year.